both corporate comedy and corporate horror. And those...
Which we both know so well.
Wow. So we have this, it's one of the original live play shows for D&D, it's Acquisitions Incorporated, and you're shifting from D&D to Daggerheart. This started out because Penny Arcade reached out to you all about doing a live play show. So what's this experience like converting this to Daggerheart for you?
It has been a ton of fun as we reimagine the campaign, the characters, the world that it's set in, and show that Acquisitions Incorporated can be expressed in multiple systems, which it already has been. Because it started with 4th edition, which was a very different expression of D&D than 5th edition, and then it made that transition from 4th to 5th, and now we're going to show that AC Inc. storytelling can also live within Daggerheart.
And the Daggerheart system is really nicely tailored to a theatrical kind of play.
Yes, absolutely. And we're finding that this system conversion is really unlocking some exciting possibilities, both in the characters as well as in what we're going to do with the story, with the setting, as we explore what does AC Inc. look like in this new game? What do all of the characters feel like, sound like, look like as Daggerheart characters? And then we get to explore as game masters, where do we want to take the story now that we have a fresh start? Because they're starting at level 1.
When last we left the heroes, they had a misspoken wish had basically fractured reality and created all these disparate realities that were kind of converging in weird ways. But in the last session that we played at, all those realities recombined into sort of a new truth. And that is the launching pad for our program and mandate going forward. So what can we say?
And one of the things that I thought was so funny when we were preparing for our first session, at PAX Unplugged in Daggerheart, is we were chatting, Chris and I, with the cast about how this was all set up in the PAX West game when they were driving the Apocalypse Dagger into the heart of this automaton, and we learned the rest of the cast did not pick up on that hint. And so it was a surprise to them that we were transitioning to Daggerheart, even though Chris was telegraphing it on stage at PAX West.
Yeah. Some of the fans and viewers picked up on it.
Yes, yeah. There are many people who have been speculating that that's where we were headed.
Yeah.
But it was such a great example of how when we are on stage, you can be so in the moment that sometimes you don't actually pick up on some of those things.
Oh yeah. I'm dense in different ways when I'm on stage. I'm not absorbing necessarily complex things all the time. I've been in a couple of games of yours where you looked at me like, why didn't you press the button?
I was sending you all the signals, Todd. I even held you up, gave you a piece of paper that said, press the button, Todd.
You grabbed my face and pressed the button against it. Yeah.
Well, and especially when you're a player on stage, you often are so in your character that you are really in the world and not really thinking about sort of the meta story that's going on. So I totally got it, but also, again, it was darling that none of them realized, wait, you didn't pick up on the dagger going into the heart.
Are you having a good time absorbing Matt into your collective?
Any opportunity to play with Mr. Mercer is a treat.
Yes.
And so whenever we can get him, we will absolutely grab him and shove him into the table. And he'll bring so much life to this character who we kind of knew a little bit already, but is about to become something much more.
Yeah, because we had Omen's long-lost son, Bode, appearing as an NPC on and off of the last few years. And now we get to see Bode truly come to life. And my God, what a privilege to have it be Matt Mercer, who is the person bringing that character to life.
Yeah.
So you're converting Acquisitions Incorporated into Daggerheart. You've hit a hard reset. I've gotten some hints as to how different this campaign frame is. I've spoken to Jerry a little bit about it. I'm going to speak to him more about it later on. Tell me about it's pretty wild. Yeah. And this is all we're talking about this, and the show is already aired. But like, this is a wild setting that you guys have set up. Tell me about it.
So part of the amazing opportunity of transitioning Ack Inc. into Daggerheart was the chance to create a world specifically for Acquisitions Incorporated. In the past, Ack Inc. has traveled through different settings, and this will be the first time that it is in a setting that has been tailor-made for its style of both corporate comedy and corporate horror. And those
which we both know so well.
Wow. And so
leave comments in the YouTube.
and so one of the first things we wanted to do when creating this setting is have that combination of corporate horror and comedy built into the very fabric of this world. And so
and to involve the Penny Arcade guys in the creation of all
yes.
of it.
Yes.
So that they're very tightly knit into the sort of the origin story of the world.
And so, yeah, this is a world that Chris, Jerry, Mike, and I, also consulting with Laura Stringer, we have created together. And it is a world where, at the beginning of time, like in so many fantasy worlds, the gods were at loggerheads, reality was at risk, some of the gods were at risk, because so many myth systems start with one set of gods beat another set of gods. These gods had a bright idea. What if we don't destroy each other? What if we don't destroy reality? What if instead we create an extremely complex set of divine contracts that divide reality up so that each god has a piece of reality that is their dominion, and that all of the people in that dominion, they are in that god's reporting structure. And so essentially turning all of reality, at least the portion of the mortal realm that these gods govern, into a giant corporation. And while they were sorting out reality, almost as an afterthought, they created this world that is appropriately called addendia. An addendum in their divine contracts led to the creation of the world of addendia, where all of the people are part of a different god's reporting structure, and they have to deal with what does it mean if, as you grow up, you are essentially raised within a particular god's part of reality. And that will not only affect your life, but that also determines which afterlife you're going to be sent to. You might have no interest in this god. You might hate them, yet they are essentially your cosmic boss, and you're going to have to deal with it. And then within the world, there are all sorts of corporations and other institutions that are built to either facilitate this cosmic bureaucracy,
take advantage of the bureaucracy,
and some that are trying to blow it up. And that is the exciting starting point for our new campaign, is what happens if you're in a whole reality that is a corporation, and it will be both as absurd as that sounds, it can be as funny as that sounds, and as terrifying as that sounds. And as they journey together, they're also still very much up to what they've always been up to. Ack Inc. is trying to acquire wealth, influence, power, and will face all sorts of nonsense and create all sorts of nonsense along the way.
How, I don't want to ask what the inspiration was for this. This is a wild idea. Did all of you sit down and just kind of try to hash out, like, okay, what kind of campaign frame is this going to be? What would be new and fun?
Yeah, it was a case of, okay, if we're kind of starting from scratch and we're creating a new reality, what are things that will resonate with the players and with the audience? And the wonderful thing about Daggerheart is we have already seen that Daggerheart lends itself well to all sorts of different sorts of campaign feels and genres. The campaign frames in the core rulebook run the gamut from sort of classical fantasy to science fiction. And so we took it as a challenge to say, okay, let's create something for Daggerheart that's totally different from any of those, but still feels like it can use all the toys in the Daggerheart toy box,
while fully expressing Acquisitions Incorporated.
Yeah.
And because again, this long-standing campaign has never had a world of its own.
Yes.
And we kind of went to first principles in our,
Yes.
I remember our first conversation with Jerry of what makes Ack Inc. tick, and now let's build a whole world around that. A world that can be aware in its very DNA of all of the hallmarks of Acquisitions Incorporated. A world where green flame might actually mean something.
That's right.
And people are going to see in our episode, it does. It's actually an important part of the setting. And we could go through all of the different things that have been beloved pieces of Ack Inc. lore and now knit them into a setting where those things are important.
Equally fun, I think, as much for the players as it is for us, is the chance to take a look at all of the Acquisitions Inc. characters individually and answer the question, what is this character's truest form?
So are we going to see some changes to like their ancestors?
And we set that up in the PAX West game where we said when reality recombines, you all know that who you are now will not be the person you might be when we return, because I think the phrasing we used was, you'll essentially be your truest self. And the players are running with that. And so you're going to see some characters who look different. They're in essence the same character, but how they appear and some of the things that they can do is more in line with what the player thinks is the ideal version of that character.
And I love that the player who really led the way here was Mike with Jim Dark Magic. So in preparation for our meeting with us as the GMs and all the players, we sent out a lot of materials, say, hey, ponder these different options in Daggerheart as you think about the truest form of your character. And Mike showed up to that meeting. He had not only already made Jim in terms of his game mechanics, also revealed that he had been running a whole bunch of Daggerheart at home.
Yeah.
But he also showed up with the key art for the new Jim and said, this is the truest form of Jim, and Jim is now a ribbit. And this was
with the goatee?
Yes.
Perfect.
And I love that Mike really was at the vanguard of this because he
had his whole sort of story etched out about why Jim is a ribbit, how Jim fits within the community that he's attached to, and it was so mind-blowingly cool, not only to see the art, but to hear Mike talk enthusiastically about Jim and Jim's future, that it really kind of set the whole team on fire.
Yeah, and so everyone then engaged with this reimagining of their characters, with this essentially green flame that was lit by Mike.
Yeah, you could just see their imaginations exploding out of their skulls at that point.
And this is very much a spoiler video. So what are the other ancestry changes that we've seen?
So Certainty, one of Omen's children, is now a fairy. And part of this is leaning into the fact that Omen really has gotten around in his past. and so one of his children is a fairy, one of his other children is an infernus, both of whom show up in episode 1. And we had Dave transform from a Warforged into a Clank. And then Omen, who visually looks in many ways the most similar to how he looked before, but even he has transformed because he is now a full elf, whereas before he was a half elf. Yeah, Vi's not in episode 1, and just as the main cast a number of them have changed in various ways, that means any NPC who's appeared in the series in the past could show up in a brand new way. And that is another thing that we're having a lot of fun with as we plan what's ahead, is toying with people's expectations. That some NPCs, some organizations will feel very similar to how they were in the past, and others are going to really surprise people in how they operate.
What is Holly playing? Oh wait, well, Holly's not in this one.
That's right, Holly's not in this one.
But Anna.
Anna is not in PAX Unplugged, but she is going to be in a future one soon, so she has also been figuring out her character.
It's hard for me to keep track of who's in what show these days.
Yeah.
So
we've got, in PAX Unplugged, we've got Mike and Jerry, and we've got Jasmine and Matt, and we've got Iffy playing Dave.
That's right, yeah. Okay, that's the full cast.
Another semi-regular cast member is WWE superstar Xavier Woods, who will play Bobby at some point, and likely we'll see what Bobby turns into. I don't know, maybe he's just made of cheese.
And I'm excited also for Evelyn to return, and we've been working with Anna on Evelyn's true form, and it's going to be, I have a mix of excitement about the transformations ahead, and also really just to see where we take the story.
Yeah, and one of the fun things that has sort of come out of this is, as you know, Acquisitions Inc. has over many years now brought cast members in, and cast members have come and gone and whatnot. And as of this year, earlier this year, a lot of the characters, even then, did not really have built-in relationships with one another, because essentially somebody just comes in to sit at the table, but their backstory isn't completely fleshed out. This sort of reconstruction of reality has given the players incentive to create connections with their characters where those connections may not have existed before. So Anna is asking questions like, what is my relationship with Dave, or Certainty, or Omen, given this new reality? And working with the players are now working with each other to create deeper relationships.
And those relationships are being seasoned, especially by people's community choices. We mentioned that in the world of Adendia, the gods have divided up reality. Well, that division of reality affects character creation in Adendia in this campaign frame, because the community that you select for your character determines which god's reporting structure you're in. And so the pantheon of Adendia, each of the gods is associated with one of the communities in the Daggerheart core rulebook. And so if you decide, for instance, that
You're Ridgeborn,
Yeah.
then guess what? You're in the reporting structure of the mountain god.
and so there's also that really neat thing there where that important character building choice in this setting connects you directly to the whole cosmos in a particular way, and then has provided some inspiration for how the characters are connected if they happen to be in the same community. Like both Jim and Omen, for example, are highborn. And so that means they are in the same divine department, whereas other characters in the group are in different communities.
That's right. But one of the wonderful things about the texture of this is that even though Jim and Omen are technically in the same reporting structure because they're both highborn, Jim's feelings about the god of, wealth and power is very different from Omen's.
Yes.
Very cool. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see this. You've thought this out very well. This
Yeah.
sounds like a very
It'll
zany
open up
world.
all sorts of shenanigans,
Yeah.
and the sort of corporate overhead
Yeah.
that the setting has means the players are also thinking about what can I do to my character to sort of capture that office or corporate feel.
Yeah.
We were talking to Anna about her gold stars idea.
Yes.
That
yes.
essentially she can basically award gold stars to other employees who do well.
Perfect.
And there could be a mechanical thing attached to that because gold stars and merit, of course, is something that's built into every corporate
Yeah.
structure.
Yeah, there is a company store.
Yes.
Of course there is.
Yes.
Priests are essentially divine HR representatives.
There's a vending machine with the right expensive diamonds for resurrection.
Yeah, so we got lots of toys that we've laid out to play with.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the bell notification. All of that helps future video content like this, as well as we have a Patreon page that supports video interviews and flying around the country, doing interview content like this, as well as playtest materials for games. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.